Hello friends, it's Kayla back at it again with upcoming books that have barely a title, synopsis, or cover that I, for some reason, am so excited about and just want to read the synopsis to you. Let's do it. This is part 5 of upcoming books that I might read. That you might read, that we should all know about just because. I usually talk about maybe 30 books in like 30 minutes, so settle in, grab a snack, do what you gotta do. I'm literally reading a bunch of Goodreads descriptions to you. I find all of the books that I want to read, mostly via Goodreads. Random lists of upcoming books. You know how there are like lists of 2022 upcoming releases? Yeah, I right click every book on that list and open a new tab, and then I read the synopsis of every single one, and then I decide if I might want to read it. And then when the cover comes out, I can officially change it from my on my radar shelf to my want to read shelf, or I get rid of it completely. First, what I want to talk about is there are some books that I've mentioned in previous videos, but they didn't have covers. Also, I don't look you in the eye throughout this entire video. I'm so sorry, all the information is down here. But there's one book that I talked about before, especially. Where is it? I have so many tabs. Ah, there it is. Oh, I have to show you. The Project by Courtney Summers. I talked about this before when the synopsis came out, and now it has a cover. It's beautiful. Of course, Courtney Summers is the author of Sadie. That's her most like well-known book. She also wrote This Is Not a Test. I also have a couple other of her books on my TBR shelf, a couple on my red shelf. This one, maybe I didn't tell you the whole synopsis. I'm just trying to remember, like we got a teaser, I remember that, but I don't remember how much of this we've read together. So let me read it to you. Kicking it off, we have a character named Lo, which is a name I love. Lo Denham is used to being on her own. After her parents died, Lo's sister Bee joined the Unity Project, leaving Lo in the care of their great aunt. Thanks to its extensive charitable work and community outreach, the Unity Project has won the hearts and minds of most in the upstate New York region, but Lo knows there's more to the group than meets the eye. She's spent the last 6 years of her life trying and failing. Then a man shows up to the magazine Lo works at. Unity Project apparently killed his son. There's investigations. There's a charismatic and mysterious leader. Then she gets given an offer. If she can prove the worst of her suspicions about the Unity Project, she may expose them. If she can't, she must finally leave them alone. It says it's a YA contemporary thriller mystery. It sounds so interesting. It's supposed to come out in February. But hopefully I'll get to read it sooner. Wednesday Bugs, what's up? So yeah, that's my first one. I don't actually want to tell you the release dates of all of these because like they always change and I don't want to get anything wrong. So I'm just going to link you to my Goodreads list, and if you sort by most recently added, all of these will be at the top of the list so you can easily add them to your shelf, should you so choose. Let's do the rest of the ones with covers so you have pretty things to look at. Okay, the next one is called Our Last Echoes by Kate Alice Marshall. Do you ever have those authors that like you just feel like you're going to like, but you've never read anything by them? I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but Kate Alice Marshall I've picked up a couple books from, and they sit on my TBR shelf staring at me. I have a good feeling about her books, but I haven't gotten around to one. This one is to come out in March. And it says it's Kara Thomas, who's an author I've had experiences with, meets Twin Peaks, which is something I know everyone's in love with, but I've never experienced myself. Let me know if I should. It also says that this is Kate Alice Marshall's most commercial book. It says it's a supernatural thriller about one girl's hunt for the truth after her mother's disappearance. It does actually sound pretty like commercial just in that. Like that's a pretty well-known trope. Sophia's first memory is of drowning. She remembers the darkness of the water and the briny taste as it fills her throat. She remembers the cold shock of going under. She remembers her mother pulling her to safety before disappearing forever. Oh god. But Sophia has never been in the ocean. and her mother died years ago in a hospital, or so she's been told her whole life. If I seem shocked by any synopsis, because I probably never read the whole thing, or there wasn't a synopsis when I originally added this. A series of clues has led Sophia to the island. Ooh, it takes place on an island. Of course I added this. Of Bitter Rock, Alaska. Alaska! I want to read a book in Alaska. Where she talked her way into a summer internship at the Landon Avian Research Center, the same center her mother worked at right before she died. There she meets the disarmingly clever Liam. My child's name, whose own mother runs the LARC, as well as Abby, who's following a mystery of her own, a series of unexplained disappearances. People have been vanishing from Bitter Rock for decades, leaving only their ghostly echoes behind. Ooh, doesn't that sound so good? If you're someone who reads the same books that I do, like, this is probably an exciting video to like learn about new things. But if you are the majority of people who watch me who like don't read similarly to me at all, like, this is trash. So I'm so sorry. The next one is called The Forest of Stolen Girls, and the cover is very intriguing. It's by June Her, and it says, after her father vanishes, okay, apparently missing parents is a trope that I'm not tired of yet. While he's investigating the disappearance of 13 women, a teen returns to her secretive hometown to pick up the trail in this second YA historical mystery from the author of The Silence of Bones. Oh, I know The Silence of Bones. Wanny's family has never been the same since she and her younger sister went missing and were later found unconscious in the forest near a gruesome crime scene. The only thing they remember, their captor wore a painted white mask. To escape the haunting memory of this incident, the family flees their hometown. Years later, Detective Min, her father, learns that 13 girls have recently disappeared under similar circumstances, blah, 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 and then he vanishes. Interesting. It says, it's a haunting historical mystery, sure to keep readers guessing until the last page. Sure. I'm in. Okay, the next two books on my list say that they're inspired by Get Out, which is intriguing. So this one is called One of the Good Ones by Meka Moonlight and Maritza Moonlight. It says The Hate You Give meets Get Out in this honest and powerful exploration of prejudice in the stunning novel from sister writer duo. I don't know that I've ever read a book by a sister duo, but I know they also wrote a book called Dear Haiti, Love Elaine. So this says, when teen social activist and history buff Kezzy Smith is killed under mysterious circumstances after attending a social justice rally, her devastated sister Happy and their family are left reeling in the aftermath. As Kezzy becomes another immortalized victim in the fight against police brutality, Happy begins to question the idealized way her sister is remembered. Perfect, angelic, one of the good ones. Even as the phrase rings wrong in her mind, why are only certain people deemed worthy to be missed? Oh, there's a Goodreads giveaway going on right now until the 30th in the US and Canada, if you want to enter. The next one is by one of my new favorite authors, Bethany C. Morrow. It doesn't have a cover or anything or a synopsis, but it's called Cherish Farah, and I immediately add it to my TBR. It says it's pitched as Get Out meets My Sister the Serial Killer, which is another book that I really like. Not coming out till 2022, but it says when a calculating young black girl manipulates her way into the lives of her black best friend's white adopted family, she begins to suspect she might not be the only one invested in engineering a place in the affluent family, and someone else's motives might be more disturbing than her own. I'm so intrigued. I love real world stuff with weird mysterious elements, and this is right up my alley. I have another one called Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. I think I have another Sarah Everett on in my TBR closet, but this one I definitely want to pick up. It says This Is Us for Teens, like the show. This luminous and heartbreaking contemporary novel follows a girl caught between two brothers as the three of them navigate family, loss, and love over the course of 2 summers. Before she kissed one of the Cohen boys, 17-year-old Jessie Rumfield knew what it was to have a family, even if technically that family didn't belong together. She'd spent her childhood in the house next door, challenging Rowan Cohen sorry, to tennis matches while his older brother Luke studied in the background and Mel watched over the three like the mother Jessie always wished she had. But then everything changed. It's been almost a year since Jesse last visited the Cohen house. Rowan is gone. Mel is in remission, and Luke hates Jesse for the role she played in breaking his family apart. Oh God. Now Jesse spends her days at a dead-end summer job avoiding her real mother, who suddenly wants to play a role in Jesse's life after being absent for so long. So this sounds like a hard-hitting contemporary YA, which I like. There's a love triangle, which is intriguing. I think... how do I say this? Sometimes, because I can already hear the comments saying like, oh, love triangles, I'm so tired of them. The like deciding between two brothers, I'm so tired of it. And I just always want you to remember that a lot of times when people are like getting tired of a trope, there hasn't been a lot of diversity within that trope. And this may be like the first time we've seen a Black author have the opportunity to write this. So let's try to support things that maybe haven't been done before. Because I guarantee if you're thinking like, oh, I've read that before, you haven't, because it's by a totally different author with a totally different experience. Oh, next up is Firekeeper's Daughter. Oh, this cover. Okay, this is a debut book by Angeline Boulet. And it says she crafts a groundbreaking YA thriller about a native teen who must root out the corruption in her community. As a biracial, unenrolled tribal member and the product of a scandal, 18-year-old Donis Fontaine has never quite fit in, both in her hometown and on the nearby Ojibwe reservation. Donis dreams of studying medicine, but when her family is struck by tragedy, she puts her future on hold to care for her fragile mother. The only bright spot is meeting Jamie, the charming new recruit of her brother Levi's hockey team. Oh my gosh, is there another slap shot readathon happening? Because this would be a good read for that. Even as they fall for each other, the hockey player is hiding something. Oh my god, there's a shocking murder, a criminal investigation. Donis goes undercover. Now Donis must learn what it means to be a strong Anishinaabe Ojibwe woman and how far she'll go to protect her community, even if it tears apart the only world she's ever known. Ah! Oh my gosh, the next one, look at this cover. It's called Bruised by Tanya Bateju. This is the author of Kings, Queens, and In-Betweens. I remember some people reading that book last year, and this is about roller skating, a roller derby. And I feel like I just saw Jessie from Bow Ties and Books looking for a book like this on Twitter the other day, so I hope they know about this. It says Whip It meets We Are Okay. It's also queer. In this vibrant coming-of-age story about a teen girl navigating first love, identity, and grief when she immerses herself in the colorful, brutal, beautiful world of roller derby. Since her parents died in an accident she survived, bruises have become a way to keep her pain on the surface of her skin so she doesn't need to deal with the ache deep in her heart. As she immerses herself into the world of roller derby, the more she realizes it's not the simple physical pain she was hoping for. Her rough and tumble teammates and their fans push her limits in ways she never imagined, bringing Daya to big truths about love, loss, strength, and healing. Oh my god! I know I've like already read about these books, but like I just, I get reminded how wonderful these things sound. Okay, next up, talking about amazing covers. This is called House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland. Oh, she also wrote Our Chemical Hearts. Okay. It says a dark, twisty, modern fairy tale where three sisters discover they're not exactly all they seem, and evil things really do go bump in the night. Iris Hollow and her two older sisters are unquestionably strange, ever since they disappeared on a suburban street in Scotland as children, only to return a month later with no memory of what happened to them. Odd, eerie occurrences seem to follow them in their wake, and they're changing. First, their dark hair turned white, then their blue eyes slowly turn black. They have insatiable appetites, yet never gain weight. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. Oh my god, and then one of the sisters goes missing. The world that returned them, seemingly unharmed 10 years ago, might just be calling them home. Oh my god, I have to read it! Okay, let's switch over to some anthologies because we all know my true love of anthologies. This one has a cover. It's called After Sundown, and it actually comes out just in a couple months in 2020, and it's edited by Mark Morris. Let me think why I added this one. I can't see the list of authors. Yes, I can. Oh, Grady Hendrix is in here. Who else? Oh, CJ Tudor. Those are the only two names that I recognize. And it says this new anthology contains 20 original horror stories, 16 of which have been commissioned from some of the top names in the genre. That's it. That's all we know. Horror anthology. Yes, please. I haven't read one of those in a minute. The next one I also don't have that much information on, but it's called Everybody Shines. And I know that it's all stories about fat characters. There's some authors in here I've read from before, like Renee Watson. Francina Simone has a story in here. Claire Can, who I know a lot of you have read. Alex Gino, Amanda Lovelace. And it's YA. And I've heard it's like a really positive anthology, like body positivity. The next anthology is called Calling the Moon, and it's all about menstruation. So we've got a whole bunch of authors in here. I don't know that I've read from many of them. I think just Ibiza Boy and Erin and Trada Kelly, but there are so many people. And it says this anthology collects short stories and poems about menstruation written by contributors of color, including, and then they list like 30 people. Oh, and it's middle grade. Stories that reflect a range of emotions, experiences, cultures, ethnic, racial, and gender expressions. That is so exciting. Okay, and then I think my last anthology actually has a cover, and I love it. It's called A Universe of Wishes. The editor is Danielle Clayton. It's from We Need Diverse Books, the organization who did Flying Lessons, which is an anthology I love. And it's featuring so many authors. Lippa Bray, Victoria Schwab, Justina Ireland. Oh my god, Zoraida Cordova, Samira Ahmed, Anna Marie McLemore, Tochi Onyebuchi, Rebecca Roanhorse, Nick Stone. Holy shit, this comes out in January. It says 15 award-winning and celebrated diverse authors deliver stories about a princess without need for a prince, a monster long misunderstood, memories that vanish with a spell, and voices that refuse to stay silent in the face of injustice. This powerful and inclusive collection contains a universe of wishes for a braver and more beautiful world. So it's all fantasy, it's all about wishes. Holy, I need it. Ooh, let's actually go back to, where did it go? A Song Below Water. Because guess what? There's a sequel. This book is called A Chorus Rises. It just says 2021. And it's a companion, sorry, not a sequel, because we're following a different character, but we're following Naima, who was like the social media celebrity who is a well-loved Iloko. Like, that's not something that I would gravitate towards, but because it's attached to a book that I love so much, I'm gonna pick it up. Next up, I saw on Goodreads that Courtney C. Stevens, her next book has a title. It's called The Ashes of Cruiser Island. As we know, Courtney C. Stevens wrote one of my favorite books, Dress Codes for Small Towns. She's really doing a lot. She's trying a lot of things. She's covering a lot of topics in her books, from like gender and sexuality expression to assault to terrorism to kidnapping. And this one says it's a YA novel featuring Ben, bent on proving the innocence of his childhood friend Frankie, who was charged with murdering her best friend and who stands to be executed under the Accelerated Death Penalty Act of 2020. This comes out like a year from now, and yeah, I guess we're dealing with the justice system. She's just dipping her toe into a lot of different topics, so I will be picking it up. Next up is another book by Echo Brown. I think maybe last time I talked about how Echo Brown was coming out with 2 books, like she signed a 2-book deal, but I don't remember if I really talked about what they were. I think we only know one of them for sure. It's called The Chosen One, and it says, anchored in magical realism, The Chosen One is a personal account of a first-generation African-American student's first year at Dartmouth College. That's it. I'm gonna read it. I can't believe that's all it says. I need more information. I need a cover. I can't wait. Okay, the next book is the first book in a new YA fantasy series, which I think we all know like YA fantasy series is not something that appeals to me as an idea. I'm very specific about the ones that I do pick up, and this is one of the ones that I'm gonna look into. It's called The Bones of Ruin by Sarah Raleigh. Set in Victorian England, the book follows Iris, an African tightrope walker with a secret. She cannot die. But when Iris gets involved with a mysterious society that's convinced the world is ending, she's drafted in the fight to the death tournament of freaks, where she learns the terrible truth of who and what she really is. I am so intrigued. I think this is her debut and I want to read it. That's all I have to say. Next up is another book by Misa Segura, who I read a book from This Time Will Be Different, like last year or maybe the year before. And this upcoming one is called Love and Other Natural Disasters. It says it's a queer YA rom-com. We're following a girl named Nozomi Takashi as she enacts her plan for a summer of reinvention, starting a fake dating relationship, love it, with her new coworker Willow, and embarking on shenanigans around San Francisco with her best friend Ruby. But no romance survives the intrusion of real life and real feelings for long. Da, da, da. It sounds cute. I must have it. Next up is another retelling. This is by L.L. McKinney. I read her retelling of Alice in Wonderland and loved it. This one is called Escaping Mr. Rochester, so it's a reimagined Jane Eyre. A YA reimagining of Charlotte Bronte's classic novel that asks, what if the real villain of Jane Eyre was actually Mr. Rochester? In this queer romance, Jane Eyre and Bertha Mason, Mr. Rochester's wife, whom he's imprisoned within the house for years, must save each other from the horrifying machinations? Machinations? I don't know that word. Of Mr. Rochester. Oh my god, that sounds good. Next on my list is a book called The Kindred by Alicia Dow. I know she wrote a debut, I think, last year, The Sound of the Stars, which I think you should also look into. I think it would appeal to a lot of people. Oh, that one came out earlier this year. Okay. The Kindred is supposed to come out in 2022, and it just says, Felix, a royal, and Joy, a commoner, mistakenly mind-paired at birth, land on Earth after fleeing royal assassins, only to find the developing planet might hold the solutions to their divided and unjust lives back home. I'm always down to peek into what's new in YA sci-fi, so I'm keeping my eye on that one. Julian Winters has a book also coming out 2022. He's written a couple things. The Summer of Everything is on my summer TBR, but this one is called Right Where I Left You, and it says it follows Isaac Martin during the summer before his freshman year of college as he navigates social anxieties of flirting with old crushes who might become new boyfriends, family disconnects, and the looming dread of being separated from his best friend as they enter the next chapter of their lives. I know that a lot of us are seeking that like early college age YA new adult age range, so I'm excited to give that one a try. Next is called The Do-Over. This is a debut by Lynn Painter, and it says it's a romantic comedy and YA spin on Groundhog Day, in which Emily Hornby is forced to keep reliving the worst Valentine's Day ever until she embraces her daily clean slate and says and does everything she wants. But when it's finally February 15th, she's left to face the fallout of her actions. This is one of those like YA contemporaries that I have on my radar, because depending on, I say this all the time, like the cover, it's not that I'm judging a book by its cover, but I think when the cover is revealed, you can tell like what type of audience it is designated to, and there are some YA contemporaries I'm interested in giving a go and most that I'm not. The next one is another debut by Sue Lynn Tan. It's called Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and it says, inspired by the legend of Chang-O, the moon goddess, a young woman flees her cherished home on the moon, where she is hunted by the celestial emperor for her mother's crime. Struggling in the land of the immortals, Xing Yin seizes an opportunity to train in the Emperor's household. Her ambition to free her mother drives her to master her hidden powers as the passion which flames between her and her enemy's son throws her dreams into peril. When forbidden magic threatens the kingdom, her choice between love and friendship, family and honor will forever alter the fate of the realm. Again, YA fantasy, something I'm picky about. But that one sounds interesting. Next up, another debut. This one's called Wake the Bones by Elizabeth Kilcoyne. And all it says is 19-year-old Laurel Early must unravel her mother's terrifying legacy and tap into her own innate magic to save everyone she loves before it's too late. Very vague, but it's another one from Wednesday Books, and I really like what Wednesday Books is doing lately. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Next on my list is a book called Counting Down with You by Tashi Bouillon. This is another debut author, so I have no way of looking up the pronunciation of her name yet. This says, in this sparkling and romantic YA debut, a reserved Bangladeshi teenager has 28 days to make the biggest decision of her life after agreeing to fake date her school's resident bad boy. How do you make 1 month last a lifetime? Karina Ahmed has a plan. Keep her head down, get through high school without a fuss, and follow her parents' rules, even if it means sacrificing her dreams. When her parents go abroad to Bangladesh for 4 weeks, Karina expects some peace and quiet. Instead, one simple lie unravels everything. Karina is my girlfriend. Tutoring the school's resident bad boy was already crossing a line. Pretending to date him? Out of the question. But Ace Clyde does everything right. He brings her coffee in the mornings, impresses her friends without trying, and even promises to buy her a dozen books a week if she goes along with his fake dating facade. Though Karina agrees, she can't help but start counting down the days until her parents come back. T-minus 28 days until everything returns to normal. But what if Karina no longer wants it to? Oh my god, that's a long book. A 400-page YA contemporary romance. I'm in. Sign me up. If you're new here, this is gonna seem so weird, but like this one literally just has a title. And that's it. But listen to this title. Weston Girls Take No Prisoners. That's it. So I have Samantha Markham, who is a debut author. It's young adult contemporary. I don't know the tone. Oh my god, it's by Wednesday Books again. So I have to read it. Weston Girls. I feel like it's going to be a story of revenge. A private school, perhaps? Boarding school? I don't know. All I know is I want to read it. All right, and the last one, I am still iffy if I'm going to pick up, but Becky Albertalli has an upcoming book called Kate in Waiting, and it's on my radar. I might pick it up. It says it's a buoyant new novel about daring to step out of the shadows and into the spotlight in love, life, and yes, theater. Contrary to popular belief, best friends Kate Garfield and Anderson Walker are not codependent, carpooling to and from theater rehearsals, environmentally sound and efficient, consulting each other on every single life decision, basic good judgment, pining for the same guys from afar, shared crushes are more fun anyway. But when Kate and Andy's latest long-distance crush shows up at their school, everything goes off script. Kate really likes him, so does Anderson. Turns out communal crushes aren't so fun when real feelings are involved. I am vaguely intrigued and will wait to see if my friends like it, but I might pick it up. And that's it. Those are, how many were there? Did anyone keep track? Why wouldn't you have? Upcoming books, recently announced books that I might be reading, that you might be interested in. Again, there's going to be a link down below so you can see all of them, as well as all of my other most anticipated reads for upcoming years. There's a lot of them. We just keep adding to the list every time we do this video every couple months. It's one of my favorite things to film because I just get to read synopsis with you. I don't have to plan anything. It's a good time. I get to hang on my bed. Did you have fun? Well, probably not. Were you entertained? Probably not. Were you informed? That has to be a yes, right? Okay, I'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!